Hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel, The Crucible of NYC. I'm your host, Domingo. I wanted to show you folks, I was working on a little bit of a project, and the project consists of creating a DIY solar power bank or power generator, power charger, however you want to call it. But this is something of a project that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that they can do. It's a DIY, so do it yourself. With confidence and with a little bit of instructions, research, I think anyone can do this on their own. So right here I have the Bluetti AC200 Max with a total of 2 kilowatt hour of power. So it's about like a 40 amp hour at about 48 volts. And this will give you a runtime of just the battery alone itself with this unit will give you like about a day's worth, maybe 2 at most if you're running a refrigerator. And this will keep your home with some sort of electricity, some sort of power as a backup. So what you see there right behind the Bluetti is the red Odo pure sine wave inverter. It's a 1000-watt inverter at 110, 120 volts. This is a pure sine wave inverter, not a modified sine wave. Right on top of the red Odo, you have a battery monitor from Renogy, 30 amp PWM solar charge controller paired with a Bluetooth module. All of this is with what I was just working with, together with the Power Queen 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate manual. And here is what I created here. So this is just a DIY project I created. It took me, I would say, a couple of days, but to get all the tools, all the stuff that I needed was a bit of a, little time taking, but it was good. And here is just the solar charge controller, the PWM solar charge controller, 30 amps. This is just a switch that allows me to connect multiple lights, multiple switches to everything else. This is the Bluetooth module that I was just referring to. Right here is a 12-volt socket, so you can connect any device, a 12-volt refrigerator, any devices that use this a 12-volt at a total about, I put this to a maximum of 10 amps. It's usually these sockets are rated for no more than 10 amps. You have 2 dual USB ports at 5 volts at 2.1 amps. This is the Renogy monitor. The Renogy monitor, which reads 100 amp hours for the battery, and that's the state of charge right now. That 0.40 to 41 fluctuating amperage, it's the consumption of the actual inverter and everything else that's connected to. This is just a surge protector from Belkin, and this is all the wiring that's connected here. So in paired, this is a 32 amp circuit breaker for solar charges and for a solar charge controller, and this is what disconnects the solar panels from the charge controller in case I need to work on this and this is connected to the solar panel. This is a 30 amp circuit breaker, and that 30 amp circuit breaker is connected to the solar charge controller, and it goes connected into the fuse block, into this fuse block here. I'm sorry, not a fuse block. This goes connected to this distribution block, and this is the fuse block that's right on top of it. This is just so that I can connect the lights and any devices. I can connect it through the ring terminals into this device over here. And so I'll leave the cover off. Also, you'll see here that there's a 100 amp circuit breaker, and this 100 amp circuit breaker is connected to the lithium iron phosphate Power Queen battery. And this is the disconnect portion where I can disconnect the battery in case I need to de-energize this and I need to do any work on it so I don't get electrocuted. I'll just hit that red switch and it disconnects everything. This is the 1000-watt pure sine wave red Odo. And the difference between modified and pure sine wave, here's the difference. Modified sine wave is a method of just getting, they call it a dirty electricity. So it's just modified sine waves are meant to run on fans, generators, heaters, anything that is non-electrical. So in other words, sensitive electronics. So anything with sensitive electronics, you do not want to run a modified sine wave. Modified sine wave is a square wave. So in the houses, you have pure sine wave, which is a smooth rate. So the difference of the rate is that a modified sine wave, you use fans, heaters, and any other devices that you use that are non-sensitive. So the difference between the pure sine wave and modified sine wave is that the modified sine wave is not the same electricity that comes into your home. Modified sine waves are not meant to be used with sensitive electronics. You can use portable heaters that are not sensitive to electronics, fans, for example, heat guns like the one that's on top of there, light bulbs, incandescent light bulbs, some LED light bulbs, but then you'll get some hum and some buzzing. It's not recommended to run a computer off of modified sine wave or any kind of laptops, or to charge anything like the Power Queen, a Bluetti that requires the power brick to charge a Bluetti. I mean, you can do it, but it's not recommended because it's modified sine wave. It kind of increases the voltage, then decreases the voltage. It's not a stable current. It's not a stable voltage. What it does is that it fluctuates. It goes high, then low. Now with a pure sine wave, it's exactly what you have at home in the outlets. Pure sine wave, you can connect anything sensitive to it, like laptops, computers, microwaves, anything that is sensitive to electronics that has, for example, any kind of components that doesn't cause any interference, then you use a pure sine wave. And it's best to use a pure sine wave than to skimp out and try to get a modified sine wave, because it's not worth it. It's not worth your electronics. It's not worth it in the long run. Some people do it and they're fine with it. I just like to take precaution and run it with a pure sine wave. So there's the 100 amp hour Power Queen, lithium iron phosphate. This is just a phone that's connected to the Renogy app since it's Bluetooth. And it just goes by, that tells you the state of charge of the battery, which is 99%. And if there was any solar coming in, it would tell you and indicate you the voltage and the amperage that's coming in from this device, the solar charge controller. So why did I do this? I did this because it was just an experiment, and to show people that if you cannot afford to buy something like the Bluetti AC200 Max, and or you don't want to, you want to do things like a piecemeal, you want to do them little by little, you can go this route. It's a lot less expensive in some cases, but it's not that much different when it comes to cost, depending on what you're getting. So for example, the Bluetti AC200 Max is a 2 kilowatt system, supports a surge of 2200 watts and continuous of 2000 watts. So the difference, yes, you have a better unit and it's more compact as opposed to this big box, this big slab of wood connected to everything there. But it's an entertaining purpose, something educational that anybody, I believe, that if you do want to learn, I believe you should just try first, do your research about electricity. Now, here's the thing. I am not recommending anybody to do this because I don't want anyone to get hurt. You have to be careful. You have to learn the proper techniques to grounding, the proper gloves, the proper materials, and what to do. But if you can read a book, if you can follow an instruction manual, you could do this. This is not hard. This is not grand science. It's just a matter of following instructions and being precautious on what you do and what you connect. So everything here, I recommend that if you decide to make something like this, start off with the accessories like the solar charge controller, which is basic, the switch, maybe a battery monitor. It's not needed, but it's a good thing to see what your state of charge is and what your battery is at. Fuses, for sure. You need always fuses, and circuit breakers, because this protects the equipment and protects the line. If it gets too hot, it shuts off. So, okay. Now, what's the cost effective between these two? So you're looking at a Bluetti AC200 Max, brand new. It's anywhere between $1,300 and $1,500. Plus tax, you're looking at about $1,700, $1,800. Yeah, it's a lot. But so this unit that I purchased was not brand new. And I'll make this clear. This was a refurbished unit that I purchased from Blue Eddy, and it was on sale when I bought this. So I paid a total of, I believe it was like $1,150 or $1,200 I paid in total. And this unit, I've never had a problem with it. Some people kind of frown upon buying anything refurbished. Listen, as long as it still has the manufacturer warranty and you can do your test to find the degradation of the battery, the capacity, in other words, make sure that you have the full capacity of what it sold you for. I don't see a problem with it. I've purchased a lot of refurbished electronics and brand new. As long as there's a manufacturer warranty of the same thing, so think about it. This Blue Eddy AC200 Max, brand new, is about $1,500. So think about it. If you can save an additional $300-400, get the same warranty, the unit is in impeccable condition. It was just whatever went wrong with the unit, they just replaced it. Some people, they would say, oh, well, you know, the battery, you don't know how long of the battery, how they used it. Listen, Blue Eddy, you give you 30 days. You're not going to do a lot of damage to the battery in 30 days. So I don't believe that. But yes, if you can't afford a brand new Blue Eddy, go with a refurbished unit. These things are great. I've never had a problem with it. I've had already almost a year with this device and I've run it through it and I've never had a problem. So remember, this is about $1,200 to $1,500. So what did I spend here? I spent on the Renogy solar charge controller. This is a PWM solar charge controller, which means this is a pulse width modulation controller. So what this means is that it doesn't do what the MPPT solar charge controller does. The solar charge controller for the MPPT, it looks for the maximum power point. So it tries to find the best power from your solar panels and distribute it to the batteries as the most capable part of wattage that it can give to you. The PWM, it fluctuates. It's not as effective, but to be honest with you, I've seen many reviews. For example, like Will Prowse, he actually did a review of the MPPT and the PWM, and it's not much of a difference in voltage and amperage. You're pretty much just paying extra money, yes, for a little bit more performance, but remember, this is a budget build. So you have the solar charge controller that costs you $30. You have this switch, which has the USBs output and the 12-volt output with the voltmeter. That cost you like 15 bucks. The Bluetooth monitor, that was on sale for $17, 15 bucks. So you're looking at 30, 45, 60, 55, 60 bucks. The monitor, these things usually go for like $80, $90, but I bought this for $56. It was on sale. So you're looking at about almost like $100 and something right there. Now you go down to the fuses. Your fuses, these are like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, another 15 bucks, another 15 bucks. That's $45. So right there you have like $145. Now you have your distribution block here, and this cost me like about 10 bucks. 100 amp fuse, another 15 bucks. This is part of the monitor, the battery monitor. This is called a shunt. This is a 500 amp shunt. And the shunt, what it does is that it gives you the reading, the information of what's going on with the battery here. So it allows you to read what is the amperage, what's the voltage, what's the state of charge of your battery. So that's together. So with the battery, the Power Queen 100 amp hour battery, that was on sale for, I bought that for $200, 220 bucks. The Red Odo pure sine wave inverter 1000 watt, that was $120. So if you really look at this, you have $300-400, close to 500 bucks. And I am capable of running a refrigerator, running an a small air conditioner, light loads, because remember, this is a 1 kilowatt power inverter. This is a 2 kilowatt power inverter. Yes, I could have gotten a 2 kilowatt power inverter, but if you want to do a budget build, stay under $600, this is what you're going to get under $600. So that's half the cost of that. Now, the difference is you get a bigger battery, but this is at 12 volts. This is a 40 amp hour battery at about, I believe it's 52 volts. And now And if I'm wrong, I'll correct it. I'll put it on the notes and I'll tell you exactly what the proper voltage is. But think of it. So almost half of the cost and half of the usage. So it's 1,000 watts. It's $600. If you wanted a 2 kilowatt one, you spend another $100 more, you get $700. But I wanted to do this build and keep it under 600 bucks. So this is what I get for under 600 bucks. So I have a heat gun here. This is just a Wagner heat gun that I have owned for many, many years. This is a heat gun that's about 1,500 watts or 1,200 watts. So the 1,200 watts. This is a 1,200 watt heat gun. It has a low and a high setting. So I'm gonna put it on low, and you're gonna see on the Renogy monitor the usage, the consumption. So it's on low right now. You'll see it says 620 watts at 47.9 amps. And everything's working great. So that's 600 watts. I'm gonna crank it to high. It is a 1,200 watt peak on this heat gun. When it turns off, I think it goes to 1,500, then it idles itself out. The pure sine wave inverter is 1,000 watt, and I believe it has like a 2,000 watt peak, but I will put the proper information below when I have the chance. I will. So if you see, if I put it into high, it goes to 1,100 watts. So, and it's at 95.2 amps. Everything's still running smooth. It's a kilowatt. Bring this back down to low and turn this off. So yeah, you see that I pulled 1,100 watts from this heat gun, and the system is still running smooth at 100% charge. And here is the state of charge. This is just for reference, but if I go ahead and show you, so far the meter is just indicating that we're still at 100 amp hours at 100%. And also underneath this red Odo pure sine wave inverter, there is a voltmeter that's on the bottom. It's a little difficult, but I will try to see if I can bring this up just to show you. Let's see if I can get this perfect. So you can see there that it's at 109 volts. It's fluctuating 13.2 volts. And that's the meter that's right there. So, and this is how it has 2 outlets. Yep, and I believe that's as good as I can get the image for you. There you go. So if I go ahead and crank this up again, I'll bring the heat gun down one more time. Sorry guys, hard to do this with one hand. I'm sure a lot of people, you hear this on YouTube, hard to do it with one hand, but I'm going to put this on low, and you're going to see that the consumption of power is going to fluctuate from here. There it goes, 500 watts. Put this on high, and here it tells you 1,000 watts. So it's a bit of a difference in power. The meter reads slightly better because it's connected directly to the battery, and by the time that the power goes from the battery to the inverter, you have some loss. So yeah, but other than that, I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview on what I built and what can be done if you decide to go this route and do this on your own. But I think that for this build, it was successful. I hope that you guys were able to learn from it. If you're interested, I'll try to do a diagram with how everything was built, all the cost, everything, what I had to do, what I had to purchase, what I had to add. And yeah, so far this has been a good thing for me to just have a backup. I'm gonna pull out my multimeter. Another thing I forgot to show you guys. And here's the multimeter connected to the lithium iron phosphate battery, the Power Queen. I just wanted to see the voltage on where it's resting at. So the voltage right now, it's at 13.24242 volts. So if I come here to the meter, it's at 13.2. So it seems to be correct, just like this voltmeter as well. So, and the solar charge controller reading at 13.1. So it's a slight variation, but so far everything seems to be correct in what I have it here. And that's pretty much it. So just remember, this has MC4 connections for the solar panels, so that I can use my solar panels to recharge it. And another thing I would like to just make sure I give props to, Power Queen was the one that sent me a free solar panel because I actually won it in a review, in a contest, not a review. And it was this guy right here. Sorry about that, guys. And it's the 100 watt solar panel Power Queen. I won this in the review, I won this in a contest for Instagram. I just added my email and I won. So it was a pretty good deal, a good thing for me because I actually got it for free. I will run a test with this connected. Unfortunately, there's not enough light. It's been overcasted and cloudy. So other than that, if you folks have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Like and subscribe, folks, if you can. That helps the channel and helps me out. And I hope you all take care and have a fantastic day. Take care.